Jane Bradley with smartspider.net, and my guest today, a new Smart Spider member, Sheyenne Sky. Welcome, Cheyenne Sky. It's great to get to chat with you this morning.
Good morning, Jane Bradley. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Cheyenne has an amazing mission and vision, and I am delighted to be able to share that today with all of our viewers, listeners, people who will read this in a text. Cheyenne, tell us a little bit. Tell us what the name of your company is and what that name means.
So, my company is called Hozho International. Hozho in Navajo means peace, balance, harmony, and beauty.
Do that again because it's so powerful.
So, my company is called Hozho International, and Hozho in Navajo means peace, balance, harmony, and beauty.
Just like you.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, Cheyenne, I understand that you, like your friend Jane Bradley, are a native New Mexican. Where were your early roots?
So, I actually grew up in the small border town of Gallup, New Mexico, which is right on the edge of the Navajo Nation. And I really enjoyed growing up here in New Mexico because throughout my travels, I've noticed that my love of art was really instilled in me from growing up in Gallup around so many talented potters and jewelry makers and, just fine artists. So I'm very proud to be a native New Mexican.
Oh, me too. Cheyenne, you mentioned your many travels. Hozho International truly is international. Where did you live and for how long directly before returning to your home state?
So I grew up in Gallup and I lived there until I was 7 years old. And my dad is in mining, so we actually moved from there to Indonesia for, I think, about 8 months because I have really bad tonsils, and like there was like a whole tonsil thing going around. So we had to leave there. There's not great medical service. So then we went to Colombia, South America, and lived there for about 3 years. And then my dad got an offer to work at a mine in Zambia, Africa. So I ended up living there for another like 7 or 8 months. And it was sort of a similar situation where just the medical infrastructure wasn't as good as what we like needed. So then we moved back to the United States for a while. I lived in Alabama. And from Alabama, I actually moved to Mongolia. And
You say that again. If that was so kind of, I mean, our listeners may not even have a clear vision of where Mongolia is. You moved without your family to Mongolia. Did
the
I hear that
first time
correctly?
The first time I moved to Mongolia, I was with my family because my
Okay.
dad had a mining job out there. And he wanted us, because I'm half Navajo and my mom is full-blooded Navajo, he wanted us to see all of the cultural similarities. He was really blown away the first time he went because everybody looked just like a Navajo person and the language sounded similar. They had something similar to Hogans, and just a lot of like the problems in their society were also just exactly the same as on the Navajo Nation. So we were really interested, and we were like, okay, so we've already gone to Indonesia and to Zambia, so we'll go with you, of course. And yeah, Mongolia is right between China and Russia, and I lived in the coldest capital city in the world, Ulaanbaatar.
And the indigenous people there are famous for growing an animal that has fabulous, I don't know if it's hair or wool. What is that?
So Mongolia is really well known for wools and furs. There's actually a Kanye West song about the furs. So, or he references it at least. But I was mostly interested in cashmere because as a Navajo woman, we're taught that weaving and textiles and raising animals for wool is something that is, life-giving, and it's sort of our vision of the best way to live. And I thought it was very interesting that Mongolians shared that belief in their nomadic traditions. So they have what's called a Herkis goat, and on their underbelly in particular, they grow this really fine, very soft, very like straight fiber, which gets turned into cashmere.
That is so interesting. So you were in Mongolia for a total of how long?
I was in Mongolia for a total of 5 years over the span of 2010 to 2020.
Your vision for your Hozho International, give us a 45 seconds of what that vision was or is.
Yeah, my vision for Hozho International really is to just spread the concept of Hozho, like what it is, and try to find the peace, balance, harmony, and beauty within different indigenous cultures around the world. Because I think our culture is not unique in having some concept of like a good way to live and respecting the earth and these like systems that are very holistic and taking into account like the environment and socially, like how do you make money. So I'm trying to find these similarities throughout the world.
So some of us want to make money and some of us want to find similarities to enhance the world.
Thank you.
I guess all are necessary, but I so admire you for dreaming big.
Oh, thank you so much.
After you returned to Albuquerque and when I met you, you had begun to look at ways in which you could start working in the fashion industry. And you have made some great strides in that, haven't you?
Yeah, the fashion industry is a very interesting world, and I think you definitely have to come with a very specific mindset. I personally am trying to go the luxury route, so breaking into that industry is even more difficult. But in particular, I think the biggest thing I have to my advantage is my designer who is helping me, and her name is Christine Era. She's from New York, and she used to work for Ralph Lauren as a senior knitwear director. So her
And you have, I think you have one more advantage, and that is you just finished an advanced degree from a prestigious university. What was that?
Yeah, I actually just finished my master's degree in management from Harvard Extension School. And I also have a certificate in digital strategy and marketing.
So you are well prepared for success. I have no doubt one day we will all be wearing cashmere ponchos, sweaters, socks that say Hozho
Oh, thank you.
International on the inside of them. After returning to Albuquerque, you needed a space for your design and everything you were doing. You found a space, and then you had a bigger, newer vision in order to realize a bigger dream. What is that?
Well, I recognize that in building any brand, your community is the most important part. And I've just found such a great community here in Albuquerque, and I wanted to offer my, anything I could do to give back to the city of Albuquerque and make a nice environment, somewhere where people can do, creative events, fashion shows, something like that, and have it all, really well designed, a really sleek, modern experience where you can just like key in a code that gets sent to you by text and everything. It's not something that I've seen here in Albuquerque. So, yeah, when I had the opportunity to rent the warehouse, I was like, why not? Why not give it a shot?
So you have rented a warehouse on 4th?
Yeah, 4th and Candelaria.
So um, it's a large space, and you've given your space a name that I think is just a charming name. What is that name?
It's called Blank Canvas ABQ.
And it's an event space, a space that you can share with yoga teachers, with poetry readers. So you're having a grand opening, and when is that?
Yeah, it's going to be August 20th from 10 a.m. to noon. And basically, we're going to have a wellness event with 3 sessions. One is led by Rose Whitehair. She's a yoga instructor. She's Dene. Then the second is a licensed hypnotherapist is going to do a group meditation or group hypnotherapy for building self-confidence. And then the last session is going to be led by an award-winning Indigenous writer named Kinsale Houston. Her Instagram name is Kinsale Hughes. And it's going to be about reflection and journaling and just how to really open up and express yourself, which is something I personally am very excited to participate in.
Smart Spider is so excited about participating with you on that day. I encourage everybody that's watching this to sign up with smartspider.net for our newsletters, because we're going to be promoting this. Cheyenne has a website, and that website is
blankcanvasabq.com.
And that information for the 20th will be on that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I hope to see every one of our viewers today on August the 20th and share some. Are you going to have any food, drinks available that day?
Yeah, so our provisions are, going to be very healthy, provided by Untitled Juice Bar, all organic, and, it fits the theme. And we're also going to be having t-shirts, jewelry, and posters by a Dene and Shani artist named Olate. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. It's very like delicate florals and nice pastel colors.
That is wonderful. Cheyenne, you have been a bundle of information and energy, as you always are.
Oh, thank you.
Smart Spider is delighted to have you as a new member, and I personally am delighted to have had the privilege to get to know you and watch you as you grow in Albuquerque, and you may make a huge impact in our city and in the state that we both love. Thank you for sharing this time with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate, everything you do at Smart Spider and all of the wonderful advice you've given me so far.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day, week, and a fabulous grand opening of Blank Canvas.
Thank you.